Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I do want to speak about Raphinha being renewed for more seasons. We're also going to be explaining the reason why Barcelona is telling the media that they're not going to be signing any players. Later in the video, we're also going to be talking about Ronald Araujo's performance and Rafa Yuste, who was one of the main men of Joan Laporta, speaking about Barcelona's performance against Borussia Dortmund. There's plenty that we have to discuss for today's video, but let's talk about the Raphinha news first. As it states here, that there has been initial conversations that have taken place around Raphinha's renewal. First discussions are in place right now. The club fully trusts the player, who is happy at where he is at, despite contrary rumors. In the summer, when Flick arrived, he personally called Raphinha to tell him how crucial he will be to his team and that he fully wants him to stay. So I do think that it makes a lot of sense for us to renew Raphinha until at the very least 2029. He's currently 28 years old, so it's not like he's 22, 23, 24 years old. If there was a time for Raphinha and his career, it is now. Like, Raphinha wants to get things done right now and win as many trophies right now. He is a late bloomer in terms of your years in football. And so I do think that Raphinha does have that extra motivation to really give it his all, because it's now or never. He's not going to have time 3 to 4 years from today. And I do think that we need players like that. We need fighters. We need players who are determined to win and win at all cost. This is the reason why Raphinha has been so betted on so far this season under Hansi Flick, is because he gives 100%. Even though he's not the most gifted player in the world, he's still very decisive. Tony Juan Martin also came in and stated, "The Nico Williams train has passed." This is what the club says. However, the same sources also said Gundogan will not be signed, only for the club to bring him in later on. But here's the thing. Barcelona have been telling the media that Nico Williams will not be signed, and number 9 will also not be signed, and they might look for a midfielder or a fullback. But here's the thing. I strongly believe the reason why Barcelona is telling the media this is because we are at a time right now where Barcelona have to win everything, and we cannot have any sort of news circulating about how there might be a player to take on Raphinha's position. Barcelona is in a very decisive moment where they have to win every trophy, and the last thing the club wants is for them to receive news from the media stating that, oh, is it true that you're going to be signing this player, Nico Williams, to replace Raphinha, or is it true that you're going to be signing Gyökeres to replace Lewandowski? That doesn't make any sense. Barcelona have to dim down this noise, because Barcelona is in the Champions League semifinals. We are competing for La Liga. We're also in the Copa del Rey final. It makes no sense for us to have any noise about our players potentially getting replaced for next season. And so to hear that Nico Williams will not be signed, it's most likely false. To hear that Barcelona will not be going for a number 9 is also probably false. Barcelona will be making moves, but all of this is going to be announced and confirmed after this season is over. Right now, we are just locked in to win as many trophies as possible. And you better bet that even if Barcelona were to sign Nico Williams, Barcelona's plan with Raphinha is very clear. They want to have him for the long term. He is good enough, and they want to have options on the left wing position. So moving on from that, right, I want to congratulate FC Barcelona for breaking a new all-time record. After the match against Osasuna, Barcelona played 7 matches in 457 hours. That is unheard of. And the reason why it's unheard of is because nobody plays a match every 48 hours to 72 hours. That is almost insane. And Barcelona were given this schedule by La Liga to play 7 matches in 457 hours. It's a lot. And this also explains the reason why these players do look fatigued. Now, thank God that we do have a good amount of rest from today up until Saturday. It is going to give us Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday to rest. The biggest break we have gotten since before Osasuna. And I strongly believe the reason why Barcelona have fallen flat in recent games and why we had to depend on own goals, right? Because the past 2 goals were own goals. It is because we are very much fatigued. And when you combine the factor of how Hansi Flick wants to play his football, it's high risk, high reward, very intense. You have to run a lot. You need to be a player that wants the ball more than the opposition, and you have to fight for every duel. It is very taxing. Javi Miguel, who is a journalist who closely does follow FC Barcelona, also criticized Ronald Araujo for his performance, which is what I do want to talk about for today. He stated, "Poor performance from Araujo. His flaws are becoming more apparent every day. A defender who struggles in build-up and defending in spaces. His clearance for the 3rd goal was disastrous, unbecoming of a top player. Gurasai completely embarrassed him." And so, I don't know if you guys know, but I am not really a big fan of Javi Miguel. He is somebody who does like to destroy the club, somebody who only likes to make negative comments, never really gives out supportive comments to FC Barcelona unless the majority of the fan base is supporting Barcelona and they're saying good job to Barcelona for winning 4-0, 5-0. That is when Javi Miguel does chip in and say, yeah, good job. But when something bad happens to Barcelona or a player does perform poorly, he is the first one to say something huge. Always ready to give out a negative comment. And here's the thing. I honestly think that even though Araujo made a couple of mistakes in this match against Dortmund, it does not mean that Araujo had a bad match. There were multiple situations where Araujo had to track back and steal the ball away from one of the Dortmund players. Multiple situations. Nobody counts that though. I have no idea why. I don't know why people work in this way. Like, yes, of course, Araujo made some mistakes. He misplaced some passes, but it also does not mean that Araujo had a poor performance. There was a moment in this game where we saw Bier run on the right flank, taking on the ball. He was by himself. It was a 3 versus 2 situation, but Araujo came in last minute, tracked back, and took the ball away from Bier. And all Bier had to do was cross the ball into the box, and it could eventually lead towards a 2-0 lead for Dortmund, but it never happened at that time, and Araujo was keeping everything on lockdown. Of course, right now, like I have also stated before, yes, the ideal center back pairing, it is Inigo Martinez and Kubarsi, but it does not mean that just because another player is taking Inigo Martinez's spot that we have to be very negative on the player. Araujo is improving, especially when you look at his trajectory from when he returned up until today. Araujo's performance was described as hesitations with the ball and having the inability to recover quickly from errors. Okay, like he can recover quickly, but when he needs to recover quickly from errors that he made himself, that is where his weakness does reside. And I do see him with some slight fear of committing more mistakes. And this is the reason why Dortmund in the beginning were very aggressive in their approach to go on and try to counterattack as much as possible to force errors from Ronald Araujo. Just like what happened on the 50th minute, Araujo made a poorly directed clearance that resulted in Dortmund's third goal, a moment that had to be corrected. Either way though, he was there in crucial moments and shutting down a lot of counterattacks. He also had great timely interceptions, blocked dangerous crosses, and overall, I would say that he had a 7 out of 10 performance, but it could be much better. But it also does not mean that when you have somebody like Javi Miguel stating poor performance from Araujo is becoming apparent every day, he struggles in build-up, defending in spaces, not true. And to say that Gurasai completely embarrassed him, also not true. Rafa Yuste also had a couple of things to say about this match that I do think does reflect on what I did state earlier. And this is what he said: you suffer because everything is very much up to you. This is a winning team, and with Hansi and his staff, as well as Deco and the other members of the board, we are very competitive and we really want titles. Obviously, the objective was to reach the semifinals and we achieved that. The coaching staff are people who are always looking for excellence, improving game after game and giving the best possible image. Nobody likes losing. That critical spirit meant that even though everyone was happy with qualification, we all knew it wasn't our best game. I really like that. It shows this team wants to win titles, and you only do that by getting angry when you lose in order to improve. A few months ago, if you asked me, I would have said it would be very difficult to be in this position. Hansi Flick has just arrived, but he brought great experience from Bayern and Germany and introduced new mythologies. Still perspective. We haven't won anything yet. We have to stay humble. And this is what I mean, right? Like when he said you suffer because everything is very much up to you, it's all about perspective. You have to understand that Barcelona will go through these moments. Like the suffering is required. You have to look at this suffering and say, okay, this is required. We're doing the right things. The reason why we're so nervous around this time is because this is what we have to go through to get to the final. We must suffer to win. Okay, that even goes to life. You must suffer to win. There is no way any team, name me a team that has went through a Champions League winning campaign where they did not suffer and everything was easy and they won 5-0 there, 4-1 there, 3-0 there, 6-0 there. That is impossible. Like when did we ever see a team go through the quarterfinals, semifinals, and the finals just blasting every team on the way? No, it is difficult, and these teams will make mistakes. You must take losses, and you have to include the drama with it to get to the final. Argentina did not get through the World Cup of 2022 by winning easily. No, they lost against Saudi Arabia. They were getting wrecked by the Netherlands, right? The Netherlands came back and made it 2-2, and we're like, oh my God, is something going to happen? They had to go through France, and it was like 3-3, and Mbappe scored like 2 goals in a span of 10 minutes. And did anybody question Argentina and their defense? No. Argentina came out as the winners. They had to take the losses. They had to take the drama. They had to take the suffering to ultimately win the World Cup of 2022. There were so many things that Argentina had to go through. I'm telling you, go look at that campaign and go look at how much drama there was during that tournament. It was a lot. So the same thing is going to go on with FC Barcelona. Real Madrid, the same thing when they won the Champions League in 2019 or 2018 and 17. It was a rough battle. When Liverpool won the Champions League in 2019, as a matter of fact, they also went through a rough battle. They conceded 3 goals against Barcelona in the first leg, but they had to come up. Nobody questioned their defense after that. Nobody. When Barcelona won the Champions League in 2015, so many struggles. We lost a couple of times, but we still won in the end. You must suffer to win. Getting to the final and expecting to destroy every team with ease does not exist. I am sorry, but it does not exist. This is good. I am actually pretty happy to see that Barcelona lost against Dortmund 3-1. Good. Let them get hit. Let them get these scars. Scars are good. The fact that they tied against Real Betis 2 weeks ago, good. Let them tie. Let them learn from their their mistakes. Rafa Yuste said it the best. We all knew it wasn't our best game, and I really like that. And that's basically it. Where Barcelona will be angry, they will improve on top of this, and Hansi Flick also emphasized on this. And so in the end, I'm very happy with how Barcelona played. We did what we could for a team that was very fatigued, who had to play 7 matches in 496 hours or whatever, something like that, and we move on from there. That is it. That is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.